Raw review for this week's episode of Raw. I'm Will, that's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. As always, let's cheers and talk about some wrestling, huh?
You know, I say it every week. Raw is fantastic. Monday might be my favorite day of the week.
It really is. Raw is on another level right now. And this was just another banger of an episode, so let's get into it. Speaking of bangers, Gunther starts the show. Gunther. He goes, let me explain myself. I've reflected on what I said last week, and I meant every word of what I said. Everyone is a bum. That's what everybody knows that Damian Priest does not live up to the World Heavyweight Championship. He is a wannabe, and Judgment Day is a bunch of bums, and they're all street trash. So he says, you know what? Let's just not even do this at SummerSlam. Just come out and hand me my belt. And Damian Priest, his music hits, and that's what he does. No, he just he gets all the way to the ring, acts like he's handing him the belt, and then just attacks, and they just go right at it. That's basically it. They just attack. No huge spots or anything, but the whole the referees, the security guards come out. It goes all the way into the commercial break. Then afterward, we're getting a supposed interview from Jackie Redmond to Gunther, and no, it continues. They're fighting on the outside of the arena, throwing each other off of like the moving boxes, the trucks outside. Rivalry is getting heated. They get suspended for the rest of the night. They're gone. This was a great way to start Raw Pop.
Yeah, a great way. Gunther doubling down on being the heel. I know we had some people kind of push back and say, Gunther's always been a heel. Yeah, but now he's more firmly a heel. Like, I hate all of you, and I like it.
Yeah, I mean, he's straight up talking trash to the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, that's
which
heel.
is not what we got before.
No,
we didn't get that, which is a nice element. He's getting more comfortable on the ring in terms of the promos in the ring. Stuff with Damian's great. Just see these two guys go at it, get some hands on each other, and I really liked how it went. Like after the commercial break into the backstage, It almost reminded me of like Attitude Era-esque.
Yeah. Should Damian Priest and Gunther headline SummerSlam?
Oh, no.
Really?
No. I would say it's either Liv and Rhea that should headline or Punk Drew.
But we're in agreement that it should be like any of the Raw rivalries over the Cody Rhodes solo stuff.
Yeah.
I'm in total agreement with that.
Yeah, Cody solo is, I mean, it's probably the second worst match on the card behind the Bayley Nia.
Well, just not because of the story, but because Solo is probably not going to put on a show with Cody.
Right. And so if Cody solo main events, I mean, I guess we know who people are returning then.
Oh yeah, we're getting Roman then, which would blow the roof off anyways. But a Raw rivalry should go on last. I'm going to sit there and say it.
And probably open. Why not? Why not?
And just be the whole show. Okay, we moved on. Ilya Dragunov versus Braun Breaker, number one contender match, because at the end of last week's Raw, it kind of got shenanigans happen, so they're settling it for once and for all. Braun would come out dominating, but Ilya would really get a ton of offense throughout this entire match. They very quickly spelled out to the apron. Braun did this thing where like he had Ilya up in a suplex on the apron and just dropped him on top of the turnbuckles. Like
on the ring post.
On the ring post type like turnbuckle, like right where they stand up on. Looked brutal as all hell, man. Absolutely crazy. They had a gut breaker, like a pickup gut buster from Braun, and then right after that, Ilya would reverse a move into a DDT, into a Constantine special, power bombs. Everything was going good this match. They were just putting on a show per usual with these guys. But some effery would occur. Ilya would dump Braun Breaker outside of the ring. So he would do like a superplex, and then he would do a superplex off the top rope and immediately hit Braun with an H-bomb. And instead of getting pinned, Braun was just like, I'm close to the ropes, I'm rolling out. And Ilya would get on the apron to do another H-bomb that he does, where he jumps off the apron and does it. But Braun Breaker would spear the ever-living shit out of this man. And it did look like an extremely painful spear because his head kind of hit the side of the ring. But we get a weird end to the match. The ref gets out of the ring and calls it. So Braun Breaker wins by TKO, earning himself a title shot at SummerSlam. I really didn't like the way it ended. I don't like that. It's dumb. We have a 10-second count-out rule, so just count him out for 10 seconds and do it that way. But the match slapped like crazy, so I'm going to have to give it a pop.
Yeah, the match was as good as advertised, as good as we expected. It's always good with these two in the ring. They have really good chemistry together.
Yeah.
Ilya hit that like almost like an FU, like fireman's carry thing to Braun on the apron, and then went into that spear that you talked about. Just great stuff. I'm going to give it a pop as well. I don't have as much of a problem with, I guess, the TKO, just because I think it's a way that they're protecting Ilya. Yeah. Because it's like if he gets the TKO or the count out, I guess, maybe they're like, oh, I put you down for 10 seconds, blah, blah, blah. So maybe it's a way for them to protect him, would be my thought.
Are we really not going to get Ilya in this? Is it really just going to be Sami versus Braun?
Maybe. And if they're playing the injury storyline, I guess, which they seem to do there.
Yeah.
Maybe he's gone for a few weeks, and then after SummerSlam comes back, maybe.
I'm pretty happy about that, though. I think that this needs to... I think if Braun wins the belt and it's a one-on-one match, that's just a much better way of solidifying Braun as a badass, right? Yeah. So as great as Ilya is in the ring, and I'm never opposed to him being a part of it, this feels right to have them one-on-one at SummerSlam.
Yeah, it feels right to have them one-on-one, and then you can also, have Ilya off of TV for maybe a couple of weeks, not super long, but then he can be that first guy to challenge Braun, I guess, maybe for that IC title once Sami does his...
it'll slap.
Once Sami does his rematch, if they do it, then they can just do that.
A proper Ilya Braun title match. Sign me up. Anyway, we get our first Judgment Day backstage segment of the day, and Rhea basically is like, okay, we're all doing good. You guys got the tag titles. Damien's doing his thing with that. I'm working on getting my title back, so Judgment Day's on the way back to getting all the gold. And Dom gets up and he's like, I kind of want to talk to you, though. And he's like, I'm yours. We established that. We ended on a good note, but, like, you were kind of flirting with Jay, is what he was insinuating. He was like, you gave him your number, and you were yeeting with him, so, like, what's up with that? And Rhea immediately the whole night was like, immediately with Jay, whenever Jay's name came up, she just kind of put it to the side. But Finn was like, yeah, you're right, Dom. You're right. Why are you protecting Jay, Rhea? You know what you need to do, Dom. Go schedule a match or something against him. And Rhea was basically like, don't do that. I'll be pissed at you. And when she left, Finn was like, you know what you got to do, dude. But anyway, we moved on to the next match. We had Lyra Valkyria coming out with Carter Katana Chance taking on Sonya Deville, who came out with Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler. A lot of stuff happening. Back and forth here. Sonya would leave the ring early in the match because they were going back and forth and she just needed a break. Lyra would go for a suicide dive through the rope, but Shayna Baszler would kind of tug Sonya Deville out of the way, and we'd play like Lyra hurt her ribs on the ropes. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of the play the rest of the match. There was a bunch of stuff happening here. Lyra Valkyria and Sonya Deville got a bunch of offense off. Lyra is A1, but Sonya is proving that she's taking the time to really hone up her in-ring skills because she looks great. But there's a bunch of, in the middle of the match, Baszler and Stark would try to get involved, which led to Kaden Carter, Katana Chance getting involved, and everybody was going crazy on the outside of the ring. Refs trying to control that. That leads to enough distraction where Sonya Deville is able to hit the Deville's Advocate and get a win here. This is good stuff. I'm popping it.
Yeah, good match. Could have done probably without the shenanigans, but I get why the shenanigans, like they make sense why they're there, but would have liked to just maybe see a little bit of just a one-on-one. Sonya looked good. Lyra looks good. Right person won here.
Yes, the right person won here. The right person won here.
We'll get into, I guess, the Zoe Stark, Shayna, all that stuff later, but right person won here, and it makes me wish that Lyra wasn't a part of that, or I don't even know what they call them, party.
Yeah,
I don't know what they call them, but I wish she wasn't there because I feel like she's losing, maybe not steam, but like I care about her a little bit less almost when I see her with them.
We were kind of in the group of people who were not over Becky Lynch, but she was on the screen so much that we were kind of just like indifferent to her being on the screen. But now that we're at this point with the women's division, man, it would hit different if it was Lyra and Becky. Mm-hmm. But maybe one day. You popped that one? Dropped that one?
Yeah, I'll pop it. Yeah, there was nothing that I really, I guess, disliked too much about it. Just things I could tweak. But yeah, it was good.
I agree. We didn't get a Wyatt Sicks tape. I'm not sure how they got the tape this time. They didn't really talk about it. They mentioned the McAfee show. I didn't see a clip, so maybe they're just getting them in Amazon packages now and popping them right in. But it was a very very quick one. It was about the witch, is what they called her. I'm forgetting her name. Nikki Cross is the woman, but it was just a bunch of look at yourself, and they lied to you, they ignored you. Basically, they treated you like crap, and now whoever is the one talking found her, and she starts to cry, and then she gives a big old scream, and it says look at yourself, and that's it. It's the quickest tape we have yet, like 15-30 seconds long. Not much when we can pop it or drop it if you want, but
no, I mean, I guess if we did, I mean, I'm sure, why not? I'm going to drop this one.
I agree.
I like how we were getting some more in-depth stuff about each person. And I think they're probably doing that on purpose this time to not give the in-depth, but I would have liked to see something a little bit more.
It was cool when Rowan did it because you saw Rowan and he spoke, and he was becoming more of a character than just behind the mask. And I went that's what the tape should be, in my opinion, is like a deeper look at the character that we'll never see on screen because they'll always be in this crazy character. And this just felt like, oh, she's crazy.
Yeah, and like I said, I think they did that on purpose. I couldn't tell you exactly why they did that or what reasoning, but yeah, I agree. Something a little bit more would have been nice here, even if it was just her speaking a little bit. It didn't have to be a lot. I don't need her to cut a promo, but yeah, just something. It was the first time that I feel like it was like, okay, we could have done without the tape this week.
I agree. Totally agree. Anyway, move on to the next one. We got CM Punk. He's coming out to the ring. And very, very quickly, he drops the bomb we've all wanted to hear. CM Punk has been cleared. Not only that, we are getting CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre at SummerSlam officially. But Adam Pearce comes out after Drew McIntyre comes out because Drew McIntyre he storms out and CM Punk's like, let's do this right here. And Drew McIntyre is like, you know what? I would love to hit you right now, but I don't really feel like it right now. I'll wait. And he says, he brings out the bracelet and CM Punk's going crazy and security's holding him back. Then Adam Pearce comes out and announces that the match is now a thing. But we're getting ourselves a special guest referee, Mr. Seth Rollins, and the music hits, and he announces it himself that he will be a part of it. So this was all absolutely great, but it is official, man. We're getting Drew McIntyre.
You keep going to call him Damien, huh? I don't know why.
Crazy. Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, and special guest referee Seth Rollins. This is the right play, man. This is going to be awesome. I can't wait. Pop.
Yeah, you got to pop it. It was a great way to have them kind of have Seth kind of pencil in case they needed a replacement. So they kind of teased it, I guess, here and there. And then the special guest referee, that's something I hold near and dear to my heart.
Oh, yeah. I
miss the special guest referee days. You don't need to do it too often. I couldn't tell you the last time we even had one. It's been a while.
Oh, man, yeah.
I'm sure somebody probably knows. I don't know.
I think it was Stone Cold.
I'm sure there's one before that or after that. There's got to be one in between there. But it's the smart play. And next week we find out the rules, and I guess we'll see who Rollins decides to screw over at SummerSlam.
Dude, it just makes so much sense too, though. Like him being like normally the special guest referee, like it's kind of just thrown in there, and you make up some stuff quickly as to why he doesn't trust both guys, and that gives you. But this is like long-term booking for all the guys inside of it, and it's like, oh, dude, Seth Rollins has reason to hate both these guys, and it's wonderful.
Yeah. They, like I said, I would not be upset if this went on to main event. No, it won't. But it signed me up.
Oh, yeah. I really don't know who's going to win. I love it. Then we get another Judgment Day. But it's just the boys. No Rhea, no Damien. And what they're doing, they're looking for Jey Uso. And they pull Scooby-Doo and they split up. We're all going to split up. And the camera follows Mr. Dom. He gets about halfway through the hall, and then you hear Daddy Dom. You turn, and there's Miss Liv Morgan. And he's over, and she walks out and she goes, I'm going to fix all this stuff. It's going to be okay. Last week was crazy. And Dom was like, no, last week was great. I finally got back with mommy. Me and Mommy are doing great. We are perfect, so leave me alone. And Finn shows up instantly after that and Liv's like, this is where I have to go. Bye, Daddy Dom. And Finn's like, I can't leave you for like 1 second, dude, without you running into her. But that's all the segment was, but it was hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah. Good stuff. And just little hints throughout the night of Finn trying to really take control of Judgment Day.
Yeah.
I thought that was nice.
Yes. We'll get into that one next one too. But we get a short Kathy Kelly interview with Sami Zayn about how Braun Breaker just destroyed Ilya Dragunov and what he thinks about it. And he goes, well, you know what? He earned it. He did it. He looked great out there. But he goes, you have to take me very seriously. And as he's talking about how he's the IC champ and he doing his normal Sami Zayn spiel, here's some noise in the background. Sammy's like, what's that? And they run out there, and it is JD McDonough and Carlito beating up Jey Uso.
Mm-hmm.
They jumping that man.
Yeah.
And Sami Zayn, long-term booking here, old buddy of Jey Uso, he starts helping and gets him off of him. So this is a very cool backstage segment. I loved it.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll pop it. Screw it.
Yeah, I'm going to pop that as well. Just because it's a unique way to set up the match that obviously happens later. And just nice to get that long-term story element as well. I mean, obviously everybody knows that they've been on the same show and what they've been through, but to see them like on screen together, you get Sami saving him again. Like, I just thought it was really cool.
Yeah, it's not a random teammate.
Right.
It's like, this makes sense.
Right.
Cool. Then we get Xavier Woods, Tozawa, and Otis with Maxine taking on the Final Testament. Karrion Kross and AOP with also, what's her name on the outside?
Scarlett and Paul Ellering.
And Paul Ellering, of course, because he's there.
Yeah. Happy birthday to Zawa.
Happy birthday to Zawa.
Yeah, he had a cake.
They did. They gave him a cake and they were eating it. I mean, he was just like getting full hands of it. He was enjoying himself. But speaking of the birthday boy, they acknowledged the birthday boy. They gave him some offense this time around. He was doing suicide dives. He did late in the match. He did another suicide dive, like off the top rope, cross body suicide on the outside. But this was basically just a raise. The AOP would kind of feud with Otis and Tozawa, kind of keeping Xavier Woods and Karrion Kross in their storyline. But Karrion Kross finally got some good offense in and looked like a threat. He did this like F5 to Tozawa, but
yeah, it was like maybe like an F10 or something.
Yeah, but he did he spun like 10 times in the air and he didn't fall with him. Like he just like spun him. Thing was awesome. But we get a hot tag to Otis, who finally gets to dance. He's free from the chains of Master Gable, and he does his caterpillar into the arm drop. It was absolutely wonderful. But we would get a tag to to Xavier Woods.
Cody Rhodes is here, huh?
Whoa. We got a top rope drop kick, sending AOP to the outside of the ring.
Mm-hmm.
That's when Tozawa would do his top rope crossbody dive into everybody. Otis was also out there. But Karrion Kross would actually get his finisher, the final prayer?
Yes.
The final prayer on Xavier Woods. 1, 2, 3, Final Testament wins. We have been down on this storyline, but this was a great little match today. Karrion Kross looked great. Otis looked great while he was in there. This was good stuff. I'm popping it.
Yeah, I'm going to pop this as well. Karrion Kross, like you said, looked good. Nice to see some actually like impressive stuff from Karrion Kross. AOP, I don't really care about.
They were there.
They were there. Kind of non-existent.
Part of the match.
Just bodies.
Big guys.
Otis and Tozawa, we've talked about them before, how we want them to be kind of more of a serious tag team threat at least. And we got to see that a little bit as well. So I thought that was nice. Tozawa got some offense in, which was the last time he said that.
Goat.
It's been forever.
That's the future tag team champs right there.
Exactly. Otis gets to dance.
Yeah.
Woods and Karrion obviously progressed their little rivalry. I mean, this was just about as perfect as you could write something up.
And then it led to something even more perfect.
Yeah.
Because after that match, well, his old team is sitting in the ring, a bunch of losers. Chad Gable has to come out and gloat a little bit, right? So he comes out with the Creed brothers. They're all dressing nice and snazzy. And he basically walks in and he goes, I can't help but help you guys. So that's just the type of man I am. I have to come out here and help you. And he goes, Otis, seems that you've taken leadership. That's a questionable decision because in order to be a leader, you have to use your brain. You're not very good at being real mean.
Just tore Otis apart again.
He did. But he was here to offer opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
He said, come back and join him in the creeds. And there's even an incentive. Wyatt Sicks are after everybody. And he will protect them from the Wyatt Sicks. And Otis was like, dude, last week, Wyatt Sicks attacked you, and you left the ring, leaving the Creed brothers in the middle of the ring to get all beat up.
He's not wrong.
And he goes, and so my answer is no. And when the answer is no, Chad Gable is like, Maxine, Tozawa, do you stand by this man? Because you'd be an idiot if you do. And they both stood by their man Otis. And Chad sicked the Creed brothers on him.
Yeah.
And they easily got rid of Tozawa.
Just one suplex. One just toss over suplex. Tozawa was done.
Birthday was over. But Otis wouldn't go down too easy. He'd get a double clothesline on him. And he would grab Chad Gable by the neck and you'd put him into a power bomb position or power slam position. But the Creed brothers would hit him before he could do it. He almost got Chad. And the Creed brothers whooped the hell out of Otis. Threw him off barricades, ring post. They were getting him in the ring they were out of the ring and the Creed brothers got steel stairs. So the Creed brothers had
Chairs.
Jesus, long night. They had
long weekend.
They had some steel chairs on the outside. So Chad's the only one in the ring and lights.
Which before we get into that, I was like, are they about to concerto this man?
Yeah, they were gonna murder him.
I was like, oh my God.
I don't know what they were gonna do.
I haven't seen that in forever. And they were all for it.
No more dancing for you, huh? No. But the lights go out. Smoke starts to fill the ring. And at the entrance ramp, you see 4 Wyatt Sicks members. Everybody but Mr. Bo. And the Creed brothers start to walk up to the ramp with their chairs. And we turn around. And standing behind Chad Gable is not Bo Dallas. It's Uncle Howdy, who is in the ring. And he says, there you are. And he puts Chad Gable in the Sister Abigail. He gives him a kiss and hits the move. Good Lord, perfection. Can make a grown man cry with that sort of storytelling. Uncle Howdy has arrived, man. Pop.
Yeah, we haven't really seen Howdy in the ring. We haven't seen him other than I guess I don't know. We haven't seen him other than that debut, right?
The
other
debut
than vignettes.
when he stood in between. Oh, are you talking about the new storyline? Yeah, we haven't seen him in the ring.
Yeah. So first time him in the ring that I can remember at least.
Yeah, no.
And I mean, the Sister Abigail. I guess I never really thought ahead. Or what's Howdy going to use as his finisher? Never once clicked in my head oh yeah, he's going to use the Sister Abigail. Dude. And then he does it, and I'm like, oh my God.
Not only did he do the Sister Abigail, but he added the dreadlocks to his mask. So he's not as big as Bray, so you can tell it wasn't. But there a second there, I was like, man, that's just too good. That's the best homage that you could possibly do. I mean, you got to think that after that he walked backstage and just was tearing up.
Yeah. I mean, he hits that, and shout out to Chad. Chad took that phenomenally.
Probably the best Sister Abigail sell ever.
Yeah. I mean,
nailed it.
I don't know if Dolph Ziggler ever took one. That's about the only other person I'd put up there. But yeah, I mean, phenomenal. That could have been really bad if that doesn't go well.
Yeah,
if that finish right there doesn't go well. So as down as we were, I guess, about the tape earlier in the night, this just boom.
Oh, are we gonna get an Uncle Howdy match at SummerSlam? Are they gonna book that by then, or are we just gonna kind of carry through? Probably not. Probably nothing with Chad and them on SummerSlam. Just let them.
Yeah, I almost think the SummerSlam card's almost too stacked. Right now.
Yeah,
I mean, I think the matches that are there are great as they are, and if we keep adding, it's gonna be too long.
Yeah, I agree.
Which now I see why we kind of originally, long time ago on the podcast, we were talking bad about the 2-day SummerSlam thing. Well, if they keep doing stuff like this on Raw, then just make 1 day Raw and we'll make 1 day SmackDown, I guess.
That doesn't sound like a bad idea, actually.
Just do that.
We moved on. Bronson Reed versus Pete Dunne. And Pete Dunne got a long entrance. Bronson Reed's already in there, but Pete Dunne's entrance is long. And then it got real short.
You said you were excited for this match.
I was very excited for this match. I was like, dude, they're going to give these guys 8 to 10 minutes max, and it's going to slap the entire time. They gave them 0 minutes because Sheamus came out and bro kicked Pete Dunne. Then he bro kicked Bronson Reed. And then he tried to bro kick Pete Dunne again, but he rolled out of the ring. And then he bro kicked Bronson Reed again. So Sheamus is mad at everybody. There was an interview later in the night that I'm just gonna pile into this, but he basically challenged or called out Bronson Reed and Pete Dunne. He basically gave the spiel of like, you guys want Sheamus, come get Sheamus. I am actually going to drop this, not because I don't like Sheamus, not because I don't think that it's going to lead to good things.
Don't you take my reasoning?
I'm going to drop it because I wanted the match, and the match didn't happen. All right, so I'm dropping it. I wanted my match. Give me my match. Yeah,
No chance. So I'm going to drop this. I'm a Pete Dunne supporter. I want Pete Dunne to be in this match. I also like Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed puts on great matches.
Yeah.
Pete Dunne puts on great matches. We're going to get a triple threat. It's going to be a great match. But I wanted this in this moment. I wanted that match.
WWE owes us a Bronson Reed versus Pete Dunne match, and I will not. I will boycott SmackDown until that happens.
I never thought I'd say that. I mean, good gravy. I was sitting there like, this is going to be great. Give me 5, like you said, 5-10 minutes, whatever. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
And what we got was cool, but
it took away my match. Anyway, we moved on.
I thought I was going to be on my own on that one. I thought I was going to be my own dropping that.
Hell no. Judgment Day's backstage once again. It's hot as in this basement. Jesus. Finn is the man of the house, is what I'll call him here. So Finn, Rhea walked in pissed about them attacking Jey Uso. He's like, why did you guys do that? I told you guys specifically not to. And Finn was like, you know what? No, I want to take this in my own hands. Not only do I not like Jey Uso, I went to Adam Pearce's office. Me and JD, we got a match against Sami Zayn and Jey Uso tonight. And by the way, Gunther was talking shit earlier, so I scheduled a match next week against him too. Okay.
I mean, we keep talking bad about Finn. Like, Finn, you can't break up Judgment Day. If we get this Finn Balor, where he just goes and I'm gonna go fight this guy and it's gonna be awesome. And it's gonna be awesome when I fight this guy and this guy. Okay.
It is just time to give Finn all the flowers, man. If Judgment Day is gonna break up, let Finn be the man who controls the destiny of like where the title ends up, because he is an absolute dog. But Rhea was like, Dom, where were you during all this anyways? And Carlito was like, I don't know, you can probably go ask Liv. And Rhea immediately grabs Dom by like the ear or by the back or by his mullet. And he's like, where are we going? Where are we going? And she's like, out to the ring. Okay.
Yeah. Carlito's going to get a receipt for that, I tell you.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Dom's going to go after Carlito.
And where do they go? They go to the ring. And she's basically throwing Dom like up the ramp. And she's yelling at her. Or yelling at him. And she gets in the ring. She grabs the mic and she goes, Liv, you can have him. Come get him. And her music hits and they're watching. But they hear Liv's voice and she's all the way behind them, like way up in the crowd. Mm-hmm. And she's sitting there with a mic and she's like, Rhea, I'm not coming down that ring because unlike you, I have self-control and I can wait till SummerSlam. And she goes, I think everybody knows by now that I have feelings for Dom. But guess what? Dom has feelings for me too. You can't deny that gorgeous men like Dominic just love women like me. Yeah.
That's what she said.
Yep, that's what she said. I didn't say it.
She said it.
I didn't say it.
We're just the messenger.
And Rhea starts to storm out the ring to go toward Liv in the crowd. And Dom like grabs her arm. He's like, no, just give me a mic and let me explain this to you. And he does. He grabs the mic and Liv goes, say the 3 little words, Dom. Say the 3 little words. She wanted him to say, I love you. And Dom said, you want 3 words? I hate you. He goes, I hate you, Liv. You've ruined my life. I can't stand you. And he goes on. He says a bunch of stuff in Spanish. I don't speak it. I don't know. Didn't sound very nice.
Yeah. I like the way he flipped back and forth between English and Spanish.
Oh, yeah. It was like one thing.
Because you could tell he's super pissed. Yeah. You know? I thought this was Dom, like, angrily on the mic, like, his best showing.
Oh, yeah, easily. And Liv starts bawling, full on tears, crying down her face. But Rhea loves it. Rhea doesn't give Dom a kiss. She gives him a big old lick.
And then, and then she kisses his cheek.
Yeah, kisses his cheek. But they walk out. This whole thing between the backstage segment, this segment, I mean, pops all the way around.
Yeah. I'm dropping this one.
Really?
Yeah. Why? Because he made Liv cry.
Oh, that's good.
That's it. Was it good?
I'll give it to you.
Yes. Did I like what Dom said?
Nope.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll give it to
Did
you.
I like what Rhea did? Yes. Did it progress the storyline? Yes. But he made Liv cry.
You can't make a woman cry that bought you a PlayStation 5 and Nuggies. And also helped you beat your deadbeat dad.
That's what I'm saying.
Can't argue that one.
Yeah. No, there's no room for that. She might have ruined his life for a while, but they didn't need to make her cry.
I agree. I'm still popping it, though. Zelina Vega comes out for her match with Zoe Stark. Kathy Kelly interviews her before because Zelina came out with like a cast / like brace. Pat McAfee called it everything throughout the whole night. So
does this count as the Kathy Kelly pre-match interview?
That is a pre-match interview. So
even though it was on the stage and not in Gorilla?
No, we're not giving it to her.
I'm just asking. The changing of setting apparently means something different now.
Yeah. Anyway, Kathy Kelly's like, look, your arm's hurt. What are you going to do? And she said, I'm never going to stop. I'll do it. So they have themselves a match. And Zelina gets a bunch of offense. And it's basically the back and forth of Zelina trying to get offense in while Zoe Stark's trying to target the arm the whole match. But they do some cool stuff here. They have like a top rope arm breaker where they were both at the top turnbuckle. And Zoe Stark jumped off and they jumped on opposite sides of the rope. And she snapped her arm on it. But there would eventually be some shenanigans that would end up happening. So Zelina would go for the 619, but Shayna Baszler would trip her up because Shayna and Sonya were out there for Zoe Stark. Mm-hmm. Then Katana Chance, Kaden Carter, and Lyra Valkyria would come out to protect Zelina Vega. Obviously, the ref's looking away, but this is already on her, so I don't know why she needed the distraction. But Zelina would then elbow Zoe Stark with her cast / brace thing, and then she'd give her code red, and Zelina would win the match. I'm gonna have to give this a drop. Not necessarily because of the match. Like, we were sitting there talking, like, the match isn't that bad. I'm just really not down for that part of the story. Because where does Zelina fit into this? Like, so is she a fourth member to the Lyra Valkyria squad? What do we do?
I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine.
I don't think the story makes sense, so I'm dropping it. Sorry. I'm
dropping this as well. I'll say it. I'm not a fan of Zelina Vega. So when she's in the ring, I'm like, okay, yeah, she can do some spots. That's about it. I think that her coming out there on her own, her getting the offense in, I mean, she has one arm that's injured, and with shenanigans, like you said, she beats Zoe Stark. As we get into later, I'm just going to jump the gun. Zoe Stark and Baszler and Sonya Deville want to challenge for those tag titles. Why am I supposed to take them seriously when Zelina just beat one of them with one arm?
They literally just lost. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, they had a backstage segment, and Alba Fire and Isla Dawn are getting interviewed about wanting to address Jade and Bianca's challenge on SmackDown. But then Sonya Deville and them walk up directly after losing the match with Zoe Stark, and they kind of demand their own title match almost. They're like, Jade and Bianca aren't going to be the ones to take it off you. We are. Doesn't make any sense, man. That doesn't make sense. How you going to lose and then talk smack to the champs? What are we doing here?
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe that makes me think, like, there's 3 of them and only 2 of them. So then, like, maybe they pick Sonya and Shayna. Maybe they don't pick Zoe. Maybe Zoe's there. Maybe they, like, freebird the titles or whatever. But it doesn't make any sense. How can I take Zoe Stark seriously? She just lost a one-arm person.
Right.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
And then, like you said, you got Zelina in with the party people. I don't remember their name. Party people, that's what I'm calling them. And Valkyria. So that's just weird.
It doesn't make any sense, man.
Yeah.
We're thinking too much.
But I told you I could have used 10 minutes of Damage Control or Dakota Kai or Io Sky or Kairi Sane.
A Pete Dunne versus Bronson Reed match.
Yeah.
All right.
that. Anything.
We would get our main event, though. Sami and Jay would take on Finn and JD, and Sami and Jay would come from the crowd. No. I think that was kind of right. They came out to the Yeet music.
Never going to be able to get it.
To the Yeet music. But Finn and JD would come out with Carlito and Dom. Mm-hmm. So that was something. Sami and Jay would have advantage over Finn Balor early. JD tag in would change the momentum. JD got a lot of spotlight tonight. Not only did he look phenomenal in the ring, but the announcers actually were kind of gassing him up for what he can do in a ring, which I liked. You're a big JD guy.
I am.
You think he's a future bigger champion than the tag team. But
Yeah, I said he could wear the US or IC title around his head.
because he's got a big head.
Mhm.
He's headist. All right.
I also have a big head. Not as big as that, but
But midway through the match, Dirty Dom and Carlito would start to get involved in this thing. Wouldn't happen too much, but while Jay and Sami had early momentum, they were able to distract the ref and kind of beat up Sami, which would lead to the middle of the match being very JD, Finn, we are the tag team champions, so we work really well together mode, which I personally love to see.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah. But they were working over Sami Zayn until he eventually hit a blue thunder bomb and got the hot tag on Jay, who would then come in and do all the moves. He would just go down his Jey Uso spotless, so he would do his weird dance, hand spit punch into the super kicks, and
put the shirt on Finn's neck this time.
Yeah, he did the
shirt
shirt
for like the camera.
Yeah, he posed
butt to the face on the turnbuckles.
Butt to the face on the turnbuckles. All the things. Dom and Carlito would stop Sami Zayn later on from doing a haluva kick that looked like it was going to end the match. JD would do a Spanish fly then and get a 1-2. Ooh. Jay would then get a tag, and him and Sami Zayn would hit the 1D, the callback to their
the Usos finisher.
Yeah, Usos finisher. But Finn Balor would break up the pin. Finn would then kind of force JD over. He would get a tag. Jay would kind of use this moment to take everybody out, but they were all in the ring, and so while he was taking everybody out, he was also taking out Dom and Carlito, and so that was enough time for Finn to recover. He would get a kick on, he would kick Jay into the corner, and they would end up hitting the coup de grace. It was a coup de grace followed by like a moonsault from JD. Very cool finisher move. They should use that as their tag finisher. It's sick.
Yeah.
But good old Sami Zayn would break that one up. Then they would do, he would haluva kick JD McDonough, and then he would, after haluva kicking JD, he would do a suicide dive to the outside to stop Finn Balor.
And Dom and Carly.
Yeah, he would suicide dive into all of them. Jey Uso, top rope splash. We got a 1, 2, 3. Sami and Jay win. Right after the match, during the celebration, Braun Breaker is here. And Braun Breaker would spear Sami Zayn to end the night. Gold spear. Ever since that match ended, I've been sitting here debating in my head whether to pop or drop it. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I think there's two ways of thoughts.
Yeah.
Because you can either drop it because your tag champs just lost to a team that's not a team.
That is my reasoning.
Even though they have long-term storytelling and all that, they don't team consistently. So you could drop it for that. Or you could pop it for the afterwards Braun Breaker spearing Sami Zayn and Jey Uso also beating the Judgment Day, which progresses that part of the story.
And the general match quality was great. It was a fun-ass match.
Yeah.
So all in all, I think I'm gonna pop.
Yeah, I'm gonna pop it as well. I do understand where you're coming from. I do wish that maybe if they did this match, maybe they could have had Carlito and Dom tag, and maybe Carlito takes the pin.
Totally, yes.
I feel like maybe that's like a safer way to go about it. Then you could say like, oh, Jay and Dom would fight each other. Like they don't have to interact too much. It saves the tag team at least from looking weak, but still also progresses that.
Yeah, that's my only gripe with it is I really don't like when champions take clean pins. And this was clean. They beat them clean. If anything, they beat them super clean because the champs had extra help and they still lost. So I really, really don't like that stuff. But the takeaway from this match and the whole night is Jey Uso going to get involved in the Judgment Day storyline? Is that where we're going with him?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it sounds like it at least. I mean, we both thought that Dom was going to choose Liv. So far, clearly he hasn't. Maybe Liv's still upset with Dom. Maybe, I don't know, maybe somehow that gets twisted around, or I don't know. But I feel like he's got to get involved because you don't have anything to do till Roman comes back. So whenever that is.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hell of a way to we had no idea what they're going to do with Jay. We had no idea. And then they just are able to sneak this in just right before SummerSlam. It's like, oh wait, no, Jay and Rhea are kind of vibing. So what's going on with that?
Yeah.
Now Dom and Finn are trying to protect her from Jay, and it's now it's a bigger story. And it's like, man, this Judgment Day stuff just gets better and better. And now Jay, the biggest, most over guy on Raw, now has reasoning to be a part of the show other than just I'm Yeet. So good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, intertwines him with the Judgment Day with Rhea and him, and you're gonna have him and Rhea probably flirting on TV back and forth for a while. Dom's probably not gonna like that. Gonna end in some sort of fight there, I guess. But
Dom's still choosing Liv, man.
yeah, it's gonna be maybe at SummerSlam.
Yep.
I guess would be. So I'm interested to see what happens next week. I guess because right now I don't know.
Dom's gonna get him some nuggies. He's gonna get him a Mercedes that his dad never got him, and he's gonna give him a Liv Morgan. So it's gonna be good. Anyway, this was another episode of Raw that we loved. Pop once again to Raw.
Yeah,
good stuff, man.
It just keeps coming out with good episodes every week.
Let the good times roll with wrestling. As always, follow us on all of our socials at COD WrestlePod, COD WrestlePod, and listen to us wherever you get your podcasts at Spotify, Apple, etc., and share us with whoever you might think would like this wrestling content. I'm Will. That's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. We will see you next time.